increasing and adding these T boosting foods and lifestyle elements. This is the biggest thing I want to give you in terms of this category is there's no magic pill that's going to get you to suddenly increase testosterone by 400%. The biggest impact that we can do for you to essentially boost your testosterone, first and foremost, is avoid and eliminate and moderate the things that are draining your testosterone or increasing your estrogen or increasing your cortisol levels, your stress hormones, by eliminating and removing all these items and foods and chemicals in our bodies. It's not going to be an immediate change. Some of them will be an immediate changes, especially if you're genetically more susceptible to these immediate changes. Some of you, it's going to take 2 to 4 weeks. Some of you, it's going to take 4 to 12 weeks for your body to start flushing out so much estrogen that has been piled up inside your body and it literally stores itself majoritively, like these estrogenics, these phytoestrogens, these chemicals. They literally store themselves really well in fat cells as well. So the more fat that we lose, we're not going to be like eliminating fat cells, we're going to be eliminating the fat within certain fat cells, but we're going to be detoxifying the body whilst not in the hippie detoxify the body. It's more so we're going to be removing the pumped out amount of estrogen that's toxifying the body in such a strategic way that the more that we're on this program, by the time you hit the 2-month mark, by the time you hit the 2.5, the 3, the 3.5, the 4-month mark, you're going to be a fucking Superman in terms of mood, drive, consistency. The hardest part about this journey is the first 4 weeks. So let's get to work. So the biggest thing, check this Google Doc. I'll be editing it more frequently than the actual web page. But these are anti-estrogenic, pro-testosterone, pro-health, pro-hormone balancing foods. Again, the number one tip, reducing the amount of estrogenic phytogens, T killers, eliminating them. Number 2, eggs. This is the superhero, superfood number 1 rank, in my opinion, eggs. Not only is it such an amazing food in terms of vitamins and minerals, here we go, B vitamins, vitamin D, healthy fats, high quality protein, amino acids. Your body's ability to absorb and utilize the protein in a whole egg is exceptionally greater than that of like whey protein powder. So for the amount of eggs that you need to eat in order to absorb that protein, and your body utilizes that protein for muscle building and health and fitness, you would need maybe 2 or 3 times the amount of protein powder in order to accommodate for the same amount of protein absorption or availability or accessibility or ease. So the human body it's designed to essentially live off a whole egg and yolk diet with beef, eggs, and cruciferous vegetables. They are what really stimulate high hormone production in terms of testosterone, reduce estrogens. It's like the caveman primal diet, but eggs are the superfood. There's only a couple of superfoods that I rank up there. Eggs, and I'm not just talking about any eggs, organic, pasture raised. So it's not enough for eggs just to be free range, because they're still eating genetically modified corns, extremely highly estrogenic seeds, that are all designed to make these chickens as fat as fucking possible, as hormonal mutations of what they are meant to be. They're all like 2 or 3 times the size of what they're meant to be, which means they've got excess probably estrogens to make them bigger. Like these chickens that we're eating, the eggs that we're eating from these chickens are the reproductive waste products of these estrogenic, hormone manipulated chickens. So this is why you want to get organic, pasture raised eggs. Pasture raised, not pasteurized. Pasture raised means they're just chilling out, eating whatever. So ideally you just want to go to a farmer's market to get your eggs, or have someone drop them off. But again, like, free range eggs is better than no eggs. Free range eggs is better than caged eggs, and caged eggs is better. No, let me start again. Caged eggs are better than no eggs. Free range eggs are better than caged eggs. Organic eggs are better than free range eggs. So just get eggs into your body, mate. Hugely important for vitamin D. Direct impact on testosterone levels, guys. Get your eggs. And like the healthy cholesterol from things such as eggs actually leads to testosterone production. So I can't stress enough how good whole eggs are. Zinc. So I've put down oysters, and oysters are just like an amazing source of zinc. Obviously, you just get high zinc foods. So we're talking red meat does have zinc in it as well. So zinc you could be doing, but just oysters is just always like a recommended thing. Always do like a zinc magnesium supplement as well. Highly recommended. But yeah, oysters have been a known like aphrodisiac, and this is why it helps boost testosterone and reduces estrogen. Meat, red meat, selenium, beef, kidney, organ meats essentially is what I'm after. But again, red meat is just amazing. Red meat, healthy organic red meat, and eggs, and maybe like a kiwi fruit are the superfoods of the world. Maybe onions as well, actually, to be honest. Oh, garlic. I've got them here. Bone broth. So essentially glycine is what you want. It's an amino acid. Helps. It's a component of an androgen receptor. Increased during periods of metabolic demand with exercise and recovery and stress. So essentially gelatin, bone broth. Wild fish, as I mentioned in what to avoid. We want to avoid farm fish. We want wild fish, tuna, salmon, and shrimp. Healthy fats. Parsley, I'll put that there. I'll have to update this. By the time you see this video, it'll be updated. But again, it'll be an anti-estrogenic, pro-testosterone, cruciferous veggies. So this is a strange one. So things like you, no doubt when you do your research here, you'll see like, oh, everyone recommends Brussels sprouts, kale, broccoli, because they have all these compounds that literally remove excess estrogen from the body. But I highly recommend you just focus more so on cabbage and spinach. It's cabbage, spinach, and cauliflower. Because I know kale actually has like some inflammatory effects to it as well. And sometimes broccoli, it isn't always the most organic kind of pesticide-free food out there. So I would rather, and Brussels sprouts taste amazing, but they've got a little bit of phytoestrogens more than I'd want them to. So on one hand, they remove estrogen, but they also have a phytoestrogen component to it. So that's why I love cabbage. Cabbage. Bump it up in your product, in your plans. And if not, check out my recommended meals that I use for cabbage. If you can't find them, shoot me a message and I'll send them through to you. So spinach, cabbage, cauliflower, and read through this. Like, it's literally designed to help strip the body, like remove estrogen from the body. Cocoa powder, cocoa nips, anti-inflammatory properties. So obviously less cortisol, more testosterone. Cinnamon. This is really great for gut health. Cinnamon. There you go. 90% of serotonin is created in the gut. Has I think there's been studies associated with the power of cinnamon and testosterone levels as well. There you go. Spicy foods. The capsaicin. I won't say it. known to be increases the androgen receptor expression of testosterone. So this is why spicy foods are so good, and it helps you feel full and less hungry. So appetite suppressant naturally. Literally, you can get it in spicy foods as well as red capsicums. Are really amazing for you. Plus, they have a tiny sweet taste too, so they kind of help blunt the appetite, which is really nice. Magnesium-rich foods. We've already talked about red meat. That was zinc, but has both. A potent calcium antagonist by removing intracellular calcium. Too much intracellular calcium induced by inflammation, excitatory amino acids, radiation shock, stress. So essentially we were trying to increase magnesium to reduce the amount of calcium toxicity in our cells. Magnesium has also been associated with, because magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D are the most deficient nutrients humans will have, especially men. And magnesium itself, like it's been linked to having high quality REM sleep cycles, which is really important for cortisol levels and having a lack of brain fogs and so cognitive function. As well as, again, like having cellular high functioning body. I know a lot of people who do like recreational illicit drug activity, like their magnesium levels are fucking shot through the roof, and therefore your dopamine levels are completely fucked up. So if you have a history of illicit drug use, and you have I guess an expression of irregular moods, highly recommend you get on the magnesium bandwagon. It's also a muscle relaxant as well, so it helps keep, I guess, homeostasis of your muscles. Definitely recommend pumping up your magnesium as much as possible, which you can get through some of the supplements that I recommend on other pages. Black coffee, appetite suppressant, increases testosterone DHT by the looks, aromatase, so inhibits estrogen production and increases androgen receptors. So this is like a perfect testosterone food. The only thing is that you don't want to have too much testosterone, you don't want to have too much caffeine in your diet. Excess caffeine can actually lead to excess cortisol later on in the day. So what I always recommend is stop having caffeine at least 12 hours before you want to go to sleep. So if you want to go to sleep by 10 p.m., stop having caffeine by 10 a.m. 10:30 at the latest. So because it's got a half-life that it essentially stays in your nervous system. It stays affecting your nervous system for 10 hours. So by the time 10 hours pass and you want to try and start getting some sleep, having natural melatonin levels, so you feel more tired, that your brain, essentially what caffeine does, it stops your brain from thinking that it has these aldehydes which need to be flushed out from the brain. So essentially it stops you from feeling sleepy whilst you still are building up this byproduct of excess byproduct in the brain. Read the book Why We Sleep. I've got it linked here amongst the resources here as well in this module. It'll explain the effects of caffeine on your body in terms of sleep, restorative sleep, cortisol levels, which then affect testosterone long term. So if you're going to get caffeine, it's really great for increasing strength and effectiveness in the gym. So this is why it's also beneficial to work out earlier in the morning rather than later in the day. If you're working out later in the day, have a non-stimulating pre-workout. So you're just increasing nitric oxide. Always have a non-stimulating pre-workout later in the day. Beautiful. So obviously a few studies showing caffeine and its effectiveness on increasing testosterone. Just don't have too much, guys. Just have two or three coffees early in the day. And that's maximum. Two is like the sweet spot, I reckon, because no doubt you're probably getting it in your pre-workouts if you're taking pre-workout. I take a non-stimulating pre-workout, and I'll have a black coffee with me. I'll have a coffee and like a non-stimulating pre-workout. Pomegranate. This is an interesting one. So it's been shown to increase testosterone levels because it has a estrogen, inhibits aromatase enzyme. So it inhibits a thing that converts testosterone into estrogen. But it's also got a little bit of phytoestrogen content in there. So again, you got to take the good with the bad. Overall, the benefits outweigh the drawbacks of having pomegranate, which is why I put this in the list. Organic extra virgin olive oil. So it's not just have extra virgin olive. No, if you're going to have an oil, use like a spray olive oil, not like the pour ones, just because it reduces calorie content. Have extra virgin olive oil over virgin olive oil. Have organic over normal, and if all else fails, buy it in a glass container, not a plastic container. So the fats in the plastic are just going to extract the chemicals from the plastic, even though it says BPA free. It's going to increase your estrogen. Organic extra virgin olive oil, it's just as we can see, inhibit aromatase enzyme in the body, so it stops the conversion of testosterone into estrogen. It's been shown to. Coconut oil, I think it's very similar. It enhances the conversion of cortisol to testosterone in your Leydig cells. So that's healthy fats from being used up to produce testosterone. Anti-estrogenic, the coconut oil, so therefore in coconuts. Natural aromatase inhibitor. Garlic, especially with vitamin C, it's awesome for immunity. Here you go, drops blood pressure more than any known drug in the market. Garlic and vitamin C combination. There'll usually be combinations in supplements, like vitamin C, garlic, that's why. Also linked to increased testosterone production. Anti-estrogenic, nice. Also increasing erectile strength, there you go. White button mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms. So these have anti-estrogenic effects, aromatase inhibiting properties. These are probably the only mushrooms I'll have, shiitake mushrooms and white button. I think there's a reiki mushroom which actually has an opposite effect on testosterone levels, but it's associated with higher consciousness and all that jazz. Reiki mushroom and Reiki mushroom teas and stuff. Best not to have those. I'd rather you just stick to white button and shiitake mushrooms. Oats in moderation. So oats in moderation because although it's anti-estrogenic, it's a little bit inflammatory. And if they're not like organic oats, then they've probably been either bleached or contaminated with pesticides at some point along the process of their development. So, but on the other hand, they're really great for a staple in a weight loss diet because they're fulfilling. So there's more benefits out of oats than drawbacks in terms of testosterone production, weight loss, strength. Just don't go overboard. I'd rather have oats than flour, even though I get it, it's pretty much the same thing. Red grapes over wine. So red grapes in the skin, it's loaded with resveratrol, as well as quercetin. So all known to have like, as we said, nitric oxide effects, anti-estrogenic effects. The thing is, why I've said this is why they say wine is healthy for you. But that's the thing, like with wine itself, it actually has quite a bit of phytoestrogens. Once it's been broken down, distilled, fermented, whatever the F they do with wine, that actually contains estrogen replicating compounds that are going straight into your body and being absorbed. So I'd rather you just have grapes and then a few things of vodka instead of wine. But vodka over wine, wine over beer. And yeah. Chia seeds. Okay, these are one of the superfoods out there, chia seeds. But the thing is that they don't fill you up very much. You have to add them into yogurts and shakes and such, and you never really tell that they're there. But really great omega-3s, anti-estrogenic. It's the superfood version of flaxseed. Flaxseed is like fucked up. There you go. So chia seeds are the androgenic, so it's the male hormone of a plant, whereas flax seeds are believed to be the estrogenic hormones of that particular plant. Citrus fruits, known for health benefits worldwide, anti-estrogenic diets, rich in flavonoids and antioxidants, anti-estrogenic effects, calcium glutamate, quercetin, limonoids, nasogenin, also linked with other compounds too. So yeah, citrus fruits can't go wrong. Onions and chives. Onions, one of the superfoods is onion, especially red onions. Anti-estrogenic, nitric oxide. A study in rats, onion tripled their testosterone levels. Turmeric, this is meant to be one of the healthiest foods on the planet. Increased testosterone levels in rats, but the dose was exorbitant, like it was fucked up. So it's naturally anti-estrogenic, naturally antibiotic, so a natural steroid like effects. Fermented foods, so this is where we're breaking down estrogenic. We're breaking down compounds in foods so they're more able to be broken down. So it's almost as though we're turning estrogenic foods into foods that can be broken down so they have less of an estrogenic effect on the body, as well as having an amazing effect on the bacteria in the gut or the digestive tract. So fermented foods benefits outweigh the drawbacks times a million, really. Dark berries. Now, this is an interesting one. I haven't put down strawberries or cranberries or cherries, even though strawberries and cherries they're amazing for the amount of protein, fiber, and calories that you get, but they're associated with phytoestrogens, so estrogens that are plant-based, and especially pesticides, especially strawberries, especially like monster strawberries. Like, why the fuck are the strawberries getting that big? Or there's obviously some manipulation there in terms of like the chemical structures and what is in the fertilizers. So I'll stick away from them. I'd rather you have dark berries. So a dark berry, the best one, blueberries, blackberries, boysenberry, I think is dark blue. Here we go, blackcurrant, elderberry, blueberry, chokeberry. 50% more antioxidants and flavonoids in them than other berries. Less phytoestrogens in these ones, which is amazing. Anti-estrogenic quercetin and resveratrol, which is what you see in the red grapes. So, yeah, amazing. Those estrogen really do get out of being resolved by the body. Sweet. Maca supplement, increased libido. Ginger, anti-inflammatory. Overall list of foods that I recommend, and this will change over time. So this is just fruits, veggies, and nuts, meats and protein, fats and oil, and other, and pro-androgenic hormones. So I've got ashwagandha, reduced cortisol, a few other ones, and I personally take tonkat ali, and shilajit is really good, I guess, in a tea, but you can get like the extract as well. Other major health boosting tea factors: preventing overtraining, so we're resting 1 to 2 days in between workouts to get in central nervous system recovery. Preventing excess endurance training, so we're not going for any marathon runs here. Getting you under 15% body fat, so reducing estrogen production, again, avoiding obesity. Exercise regularly, enough sleep, removing all the bullshit that's affecting you, enough vitamin D, cycling your calories, getting you having more sex, higher confidence, greater self-worth, more driven to fucking accomplish your goals, anti-aging or reduce aging effects, non-sedentary lifestyle, avoiding chronic drug, alcohol, and tobacco use, preventing diabetes, and getting you to take some fucking creatine. Yeah, boys. All right. Cheers, guys. I'll be altering this over time. I'm excited to keep altering this over time. All right. See you in the next one.